baby, when you hear that noise, you know what time it is. You guys are in the right place to be. It's Thursday. It's still football season. So you know you had to stop by the Locker Room Show. And we're excited for tonight's show. This is somebody that I've been waiting to have on for a while, and you'll definitely see why in a minute. But first and foremost, I got to introduce the boy that holds me down every single Thursday in the Locker Room Show on the other side of the defense, and that is none other than Q, the Guru. What's going on, Guru?
What's going on, Coach? Man, we got a lot of good games on, man. Big ups to them Jayhawks, man. Had to lay UNLV down, but that was a good game. Shouts out to Jacob De Jesus. Hey, I see you, bro. If you listening, man, your family hey, I see you, man. Just keep doing what you doing. You had a game, boy. Had a nice game with all-purpose yards, man. So keep doing what you doing, man. You're gonna get your shot. I'm telling you
Yes,
live here.
indeed. Yes,
Yeah,
indeed. And
definitely.
obviously, you guys have been rocking with us. Know that it's Rock Chalk when we talk about Q the Guru, former Kansas football player. And then he mentioned our very own Jacob De Jesus before he go
Man,
pro athlete, All American, was ripping it up in the bowl game. So shouts out to Jay. But
definitely.
tonight is not about the ones on the field. This is about the one that is training the boys on the field, the one that has done it himself, and now you guys has a top tier first flight training business of his own. He is the founder and owner of Real Neal Sports Gym, training some of the top female and male athletes throughout the Bay Area, pro guys, college, high school. If you're in the Bay Area and you're looking to get right, then you are in the right spot, because we have the very own Mike Neal Jr. This is somebody he went and played football, you guys, and was at CCSF, San Francisco City College, very tapped in to all of the Bay Area programs. And then, like I said, some of the top athletes going on right now. So that is the person that we have on tonight, and we're excited to introduce him. What's going on, Mike? How you doing, baby?
Oh, I'm blessed, man. I appreciate you guys bringing me onto your platform. What an experience, man. This is exciting, man. You guys bring the energy. I love it.
Oh yeah, definitely,
Oh
definitely.
man, we're pumped up to have you, dude. And you've been doing some amazing things. I started hearing about you maybe almost a decade ago,
Oh, wow.
through some of the athletes that I've been working with. We did the college tour together, man, and
Yeah.
you've been steamrolling ever since. So definitely pumped up to have you on. Once again, you guys, this is a Bay Area native. This is somebody that has been doing huge things over the last years. He gets the boys on the beach, Q. He gets them on this hill that you see behind him. He's got some
Hey,
NFL players with him, and they're grinding. They're getting it right. So let's get into it, you guys. For those that are joining us for the very first time, once again, I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood, and the topics are on the bottom ticker. So you guys know what's going to be covered tonight. We're going to get into the journey of our guests, but we're going to get into some sauce, some advice too for you young athletes. So let's get into it, you guys. Start off with you, Mike. I mean, from athlete to owner, not many athletes have a good transition after they hang up their cleats. Some guys find out the hard way. What's that next chapter of their life? And you were able to transition into training others, into inspiring others, and actually founding and owning your own gym. So what was the aha moment for you, man? When did that light bulb come on?
Great question. I would tell you the light bulb probably went off when I was in high school, transitioning to college. I had an amazing mentor by the name of Aaron Thigpen. If you're in a Bay Area cat and you play sports, you know who Aaron Thigpen is, or you know the name Game Speed.
mhm.
Aaron was my mentor, was my trainer growing up. And I had the opportunity and the blessing to work with him every single day. Not only he as my trainer and mentor, but work out with him. And if you know Aaron Thigpen, he's a world class sprinter. So he does it and it's legit. So I had not only the lessons from him, but I had the groundwork that we did together and watching this man perform and also build his business since I was 15 years old.
Mhm.
Um, And so, I didn't know it at the time, but he was grooming me to do something larger than sports.
Mhm.
Um, and so, I couldn't afford the training. So I would clean up around the gym. I would do things as far as helping build athletes, young athletes, help with their athleticism, help with running mechanics and teaching speed to 8, 9 year olds who played football.
Gotcha.
And before I knew it, these kids were getting better and their friends were coming in asking for me. And it's just something I fell in love with. So at that moment, while I think I was probably my sophomore year in college, because I would come back every single break and I'd
Mm,
train and work. And it was just
Mhm.
like, I'm good at this. It brought me, it fulfilled me,
mm.
So, my father always told me, sports might end one day if you don't make it pro, or even if you do, it's going to be over. What are you going to do? And Aaron helped me paint that picture ahead of time. So I would say my aha moment came when I wasn't even looking for it. It just was a blessing and a gift that I was given.
Wow.
That's what's
That's
up.
amazing right
Yeah,
there. And for you to get it
Yeah,
young, and really
yeah.
recognize it,
yeah,
and
That's rare.
yeah,
yeah,
that allowed the transition to be much easier. So
Yeah,
thank you for sharing that with us. And a lot of you
yeah,
athletes that are listening, you can still stay in the sports. You can still stay in this thing, just maybe as a gym owner or a trainer like Mike. So thank you for sharing that with us. We're on to our next topic, you guys. And once again, thank you for rocking with us. I'm your host, Coach Terrence Wood. We got Q, the guru, with us. But the next topic, you guys, is the ultimate off season. The
mm,
ultimate off season. Q, we talk a lot about these kids specializing
yeah,
now, and
yeah.
I'm glad we got you on, Mike, because you deal with a lot of these athletes.
yeah,
So I'll start with you, Q. Um, I'm a top flight football player. Maybe I
Right,
just got done with a bowl game. I
right.
want to come back next year. What does the perfect off season look like? What does the ultimate off season look like? Or maybe I'm a high school athlete that wants to get recruited. Should I
Right.
jump into another sport? Should I be doing something else? What does the off season look like?
I mean, the off season needs to be looking like how can I develop myself? How can I develop myself with whether it's flexibility, speed, or whatnot, developing better eye-hand coordination, but outside the parameters of football. Um, and like you said, T, we talk about this a lot. A lot of the greatest athletes that you probably can name in the sport of football were all multi-sport athletes. Like Prime played football, baseball, and basketball. T, you just sent me a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if y'all seen it, but you need to watch Travis Hunter hoop.
Yeah.
Like unbelievable, right? But then when
athlete.
he goes out on exactly, but when he goes out on the field, he has these skills and hand-eye coordination that maybe the next kid doesn't have because they're only specializing in training within the parameters of football. So it's other sports that will help you ultimately be a better foot. And I mean, of course, track, but I'm saying like whether it's basketball, definitely baseball. Me personally, I'm always going to be an advocate for soccer because I always say if you can have ultimate control of your feet, you're going to dominate everybody anyway. That's why, as again, I always say, that's why Ocho and Odell, when he was younger and healthy, you couldn't check those dudes because they were soccer players their whole life. So I always, man, love mixing in, man, other sports because it'll all ultimately make you a better football player, man.
Talk to me, Mike, because a lot of the kids who use you
Hmm,
in the off season, they are specializing. They just do football and then they train.
man.
What's your feelings on it? I don't know if you played multiple sports when you were younger, but do you think these kids should be playing other sports, or do you think they need to specialize?
Of course not. They need to be playing everything under the sun.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
I tell parents all the time, don't limit their kids to one sport. Yeah, at least until they're getting recruited by one of them.
Right.
Even then, college coaches want multi-sport athletes. They want to bring athletes in. Teaching skill is one thing. They can teach the skill to the player, but they can't teach the athleticism
Criticism. There you go.
of the player.
There
You know
you
what I
go.
mean? So I teach that all the time, and I think that's what helps and sets my business apart. When I train sports specific athletes, we work on athleticism.
There you
we
go.
build we build athletes. It's not about making you faster, stronger, this and that. We put it all together. We do tennis ball work, we do change of direction work,
Mm-hmm.
we do hand-eye coordination work. My volleyball, like for example, we had group training this morning. My volleyball players, my football players, and basketball players had the same workout and they trained together.
See, that's rare.
Love it.
That's rare. See, and I like that. I see, again, folks, if you listen to this, this is extremely rare because, again, I'm not knocking a lot of you trainers out there, man. Like, blessings to you and thank you for what you're doing to these young athletes. But there are a lot of trainers and they are sport specific. And I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm not going to use that word bad, but what you're doing, Mike, is ideal. Because, like I said, you need a different set of motor skills, man, to track a fastball than you do with a basketball or playing football. And I'm sure, like, you'll probably notice too. I've seen this with, any kids that I've even trained and worked with. If you have offensive and defensive linemen as big as those boys are, but they're hoopers, they got great feet. They got great feet. So the same way that you're playing defense and you have a great feet as a power forward at 6'8", 6'7", you're going to be a great tackle kicking back on pass blocking because your feet are great. It translates.
You understand
perfect.
angles.
Yeah,
it's angles and leverage.
Yeah, it translates.
You know how to cut the field off. You know how to cut the court down.
There
you know how to take something away. That's the same thing as a DB playing a DB. I tell my defensive backs, it's just like playing defense on basketball.
It is.
You cut him off, force him one way, and take it. And once he goes that way, now you run and cut the angle off.
Man,
it's the same situation. Dog. The same thing. So I tell our athletes all the time, play multiple sports as much as you can. And even if you're locked in on playing one sport, then you need to be with me in the off season. And I force players. This is another thing I do with my one sport athletes. I force them to take a season off. So for example, these basketball players, I'm gonna use basketball as an example. I got a middle school basketball player that's playing year-round basketball, right? He's 12, 13 years old. His body's not developed and it's not ready to play year-round basketball because you're going to break his body down. He's only learning particular movements that he's doing every day. So to develop that athlete, he plays in the winter. The spring, he does not do any basketball. He might do basketball skills training, but he gets with me in the weight room and in the athletic field so we can work his body, get his body prepared, and also where he can work on his skills. He goes and plays in the summer, and then he takes the fall off in preparation, in preparing his body for the winter season.
Okay.
If parents can't follow this regimen, they can't be in my program. Because the thing about it is you're going to overwork the athlete, and eventually the body will break down. The brain and the athlete will get burnt out. And by the time they can receive and really grow and bloom in college after they earn that lifetime scholarship, they don't want to do it anymore. They've been doing it since they're 12, doing the same thing. So you have to mix it up. You have to give them a change of scenery, a change of movement, a change of voice that will allow them to be hungry and motivated to get back on the court and show what they developed in the offseason.
That's a great point. That's a great point. And even in regards to injury too, I mean, you see a lot of kids, man, you shouldn't be 14, 15 tearing ACLs, man, or whatnot, man. Like, ligaments, overusage. That's a great point. I like that. I like that a lot. I really hope, man, parents.
There we go. And we got some people.
That's huge.
Right on, man.
Huge, yeah.
We definitely got some people dropping some comments. Kyle says dropping gems for sure. Jimmy Rucker says multi-sports help work different muscle groups. So a lot of what you guys are saying. Alex Duke is saying, real Neal, what's going on? So we appreciate you guys joining us. And that's some great information for some of you athletes out there, some of you parents. I know certain schools that limit kids to how many sports they can play. So it's very interesting times, definitely. We're on to our next topic, you guys. And once again, thank you for joining us in the Locker Room Show every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. You guys can come and get some of this knowledge. So talking about D1 common denominators. D1 common denominators. Mike, you've tried the best throughout the Bay Area, guys that are getting ready for the NFL. Like we got Ray Davis right here out of California, Sincere Jackson, one young man that we both work with. He's at Sam Houston. So I want to talk to you, Coach, about common denominators because everybody wants to go D1. But from your vantage point as coach, trainer, what are some of the common denominators that you see in those kids that are really about that life?
That's a great question.
That's a great question. It's broad but very narrow. The commitment is one, sacrifice is the other, and always competing, I would say, is a third. These athletes don't turn down work. They don't make excuses no matter what. You mentioned Sincere Jackson. You mentioned Ray Davis. My facility is in Martinez. These two young men live either in San Francisco or in Pacifica, Sincere and Specific. In specific, he would drive from Pacifica to Martinez 4 days a week to get work, and not just work out and say he worked out. We would run the hill, we pulled the sled, we would do everything. He would leave laid out, done, and he'll show up the next day. He'll come to the beach workouts every Saturday.
See,
so it's the sacrifices you make to yourself and not worried about what everybody else is doing. You're focused on yourself is what separates Division I athletes to everybody else.
Man, I'm telling you. I'm so glad you said, because it's again another subject. It's too many kids out here, man, and it's like there can't be any days off. So again, I hope you young athletes are listening to what this man's saying, because he's cranking out D1 kids. And if you one of those kids and man, you want to oversleep, I'll get at it tomorrow. I'll get at it day after tomorrow, man. There's somebody out here, man, and that's exactly who's gonna take your scholarship and why you're gonna be at home and they're gonna be on TV. Period.
And just to add to that, we had a conversation with athletes this morning. And just to add, I had a conversation with my athletes this morning. Our group of athletes is small, 15 to 20 kids at a time. And these are all kids who are the best athletes on their team or in their league or being recruited or already in college. And I said to them today, I said, it's easy to be really, really good and great right nowadays because nobody wants to work. Everybody wants to show you what they're working on Instagram, but nobody wants to work. If you really stay consistent to doing the little things on a daily basis, you will be better than your competition and your peers because they don't want to do it on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So just stay consistent to the little things.
Facts.
That's amazing kids, right there.
And kids, how many times have you heard your coach say that? Now you hear Mike say that. How many times have you heard your coach say it's the little things? But it really is the little things, though. It really is. Like, that's not just a cliche. He's being honest. That's what separates the kids that get a shot and the kids that don't. That's what he's trying to explain to you all, man. It's a big field out here, man.
Yeah.
And Alonzo is saying great information. Everyone's not teaching this. They're not being honest. You're right, Alonzo. We've got Skip Winters, a great Skip Winters. He's got a young superstar, Grant Winter, D lineman on the East Coast. What's popping, West Coast? We see you, Skip. And then, of course, we've got Braden saying it's a lifestyle. No doubt. That's facts right there, Braden. So, Brandon, sorry about that. So, it's a lifestyle, you guys. You guys say D1, and obviously all the perks come with D1, but they're earned, baby. They're definitely earned. So we're going on to our next topic, you guys. And once again, we hit them. We go fast. We get in and out. We want you guys' opinions as well. So do not hesitate to jump into the comment section right there. But this next topic, you guys, this is something alluding, Q, to what we were talking about last week where we saw Russ was getting cussed out a little bit by Sean Payton. Well, now, you guys, they're saying, hey, we've seen enough. We've seen enough. You're going to be benched for the rest of the season. And then when the season ends, we're going to replace you. We're the Russ era, Sierra era is done in Denver, you guys. So I wanted to bring this to you guys, former players right here. We'll start off with you, Mike. If you're in college, maybe playing big time college, or you're in the pros, do you want to just let me play out the season? Or do you want to know if they plan on replacing you before the season's even over? How would you prefer to get your tea?
Man, I keep it a buck. That's why my business is called Real Neal. I'm gonna keep it real. So let me know what's really good, so I can wrap my mind around what I need to do personally for myself. Do I need to, do I need to make a change or whatever it is? I want to know what it is. So keep it a buck with me.
Yeah. I heard that. And talk to me, Q. I mean, for some guys they want to know. For some guys they don't want to know. It makes it harder to show up for the job and have a smile on your face when everybody knows you're out the door. If it's Q the guru and they're gonna replace you regardless, do you want to know or not know?
I mean, no, I definitely want to know. But it's like I mentioned last week. Russ has been stinking it up all season. Actually, the last 2 seasons. Well, actually, better yet, since he's been there, right? So he had. Well, I mean, let's be real. He hasn't been the same guy. Now, Russ, years back in Seattle, I mean, one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the league. Somewhere along the line, he lost that. Hopefully, we'll see it regain it. I don't know where, but business-wise, they're looking at it like this. We're benching you not just because you couldn't get it going here in our organization, but if we put you out there and you get injured, now we can't get as much money off you in a trade because you damage goods now. Have a seat. That's business 101 in the league, among other things, right? That's the other reason why they benching him. So it's 2 reasons why. But if he gets out there and gets hurt, it'll ruin the trade because now he's injured. And in regards to what they would ask for him, I don't know what they would get for him off of what he showed so far. But that business wise, that would be an issue in a trade, him being injured. So yeah, he's gonna have a seat. And we wish Russ the best, and hopefully he can regain what we once saw in Seattle. Man, we'll see.
Yeah, it's a tough business, but I wish him the best.
Definitely.
Wish him the best.
Definitely.
And some of you young kids need to keep this in mind because this college climate now is a 1 year. These scholarships are like 1 year deals.
That's all they are.
So if you're not showing up, they're gonna replace you like Russ. So you guys need to keep that in mind as you guys wish for the best for your own career. We're on for the next topic, you guys, and breezing through this baby. This one caught my attention and I thought was interesting, you guys. Superstar quarterback, maybe even should have been given the chance to go to the Heisman ceremony, but superstar quarterback Jalen Milroe says that former OC Bill O'Brien, who is now with the New England Patriots, and obviously their offense is struggling a little bit. But Milroe said he was honest, man, that he had to fight to stay at quarterback at Alabama and was actually advised by Bill O'Brien to go to another position. So I want to throw this out to you guys. Q, we'll start with you. Sometimes guys get that nudge on the shoulder that, hey, you might want to look at DB or you might want to look at tight end. That's exactly what Travis Kelce did. He was a quarterback and moved to tight end. Now he's going to be a Hall of Fame tight end. But sometimes, Q, it is a little bit of hate. How does an athlete decipher that?
I mean, a lot of times, T, it's gonna come down to you believing in yourself, man. I think what it is, man, and I hate to say it, but it's like we've seen way too many black quarterbacks that have been forced to convert. We've had these conversations as well. I mean, Hines Ward, he was a quarterback. Randall L., he was a quarterback. Randall Cunningham, he was before his time. So it's like, Warren Moon, he was forced to go up north. So sometimes I hate to see that because it's like sometimes when you do have an African-American quarterback and he's too athletic, it's like, well, we can just put him somewhere. It's like, no, he's a quarterback. you know, so you have to give him a fair shake. And the kid, I'm glad the kid, he didn't run, he didn't transfer, he stayed, he scrapped it out, and he got that QB1 spot. So I mean, in that sense, man, I'm proud that you know, seeing that out of him, that he accomplished that, because man, coaches, I hate, I mean, follow what your coaches are saying, but coaches are human beings, and human beings aren't always right. And sometimes you just got to bet on yourself. You do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk to me, Mike. Let's say one of your young athletes is training with you and he says, man, coach, I want to stay a quarterback, but coach is saying I could get recruited higher if I switch. How does a young man decipher that? Or what should his steps be to decide which side of the ball to stay on?
That is tough, man. And I commend Jalen for that, for staying true to himself, because that's tough, especially in the day and age now where you got the transfer portal and they're constantly bringing new guys in, you know. But I would tell any athlete, if that's where your heart is, that's where your love, and that's the work you've been put in, and that's what you know that you will do day in and day out, stick to your guns and stay true to yourself and trust yourself. You know, that it just means let's just work harder. That means you're not making enough noise. You know, put in the work, study up. You know, every day is a competition with yourself and with your peers.
Facts.
You're not ready to turn down that hat. Don't turn it down. Because again, like you said, we all humans, we all make mistakes, and you might see something in yourself that a coach doesn't see. But my job is to be the honest support system. I'm gonna be honest with you, but I'm gonna support whatever my athlete wants to do moving forward.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, man. Yeah, coaches, man. Coaches, they get it wrong. I mean, for Christ's sake, when I was at Kansas, man, I played for our head coach was Terry Allen that came from Northern Iowa, and he coached. You might have heard of Kurt Warner and had the audacity to tell Kurt Warner he wasn't gonna be Jack. And we see how that worked out. So coaches get it wrong, man. Don't get it twisted.
Gold jacket.
I'm telling you, gold jacket, bright gold jacket, Captain Kirk. So you know what I'm saying? So you bet on yourself, man. You bet on yourself and you put in the work, and it'll work out just fine, man.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Great feedback. We got the great Jimmy Rucker saying Curtis Conway was a QB in high school and USC moved him to wide receiver. So, you know, plenty of examples. You know, I did it myself. I was a quarterback in high school, but I wanted to move. I felt myself that I projected better as a DB. Milroe feels like he's a quarterback, you know. So you guys, like these gentlemen said, you got to be true to yourself. True to yourself. Poetic Head says 100. So thank you for joining us right there, Poetic. We're on to our next topic, you guys, and this is one of the fan favorite portions of the show. This is the lightning round, you guys. The lightning round. Around with the Locker Room Show. This is our version, you guys, of a little bit of word association. So whoever our guest is, and tonight it is the great Neal Jr., he is going to be put through a little gauntlet, a 60-second gauntlet where we're going to be firing some questions, some either or at him, and then he's going to tell us, y'all, the first thing that comes to his mind. He's going to keep it filtered. He's going to keep it business savvy. So we don't get nothing shut down on YouTube, and we're going to make it happen. So I know this gentleman, and I think I got a pretty good list. You ready to go, Big Mike?
Man, let's do it.
Here we go.
All right, so let's do it. Let me set my clock to 00 and set there so you guys see I'm not cheating Big Mike. I'm not going to cheat a Bay Area player. So he's at 00. He's got 60 seconds, you guys. I got the list right here. And then the number's 15. Number's 15. So we're not just doing this for fun, Mike. If you can get to 15 or higher, then it's a dinner on the Locker Room Show. It's a dinner on the Locker Room Show. Bay Area. So we'll have to get together, and I got to take you out, brother. So 15 or higher, you guys. Now, actually, he gets one for tech delay because we are in different areas. So even if he gets to 14, he's still in the mix. He's still in the mix. So we got him at 00, and he's going to give us the first thing that comes to his mind. All right. The Locker Room Show lightning round. All right. Number one. Number one, first thing that comes to your mind. City College of San Francisco. Go.
We the Rams.
Red grapes or green grapes?
Green grapes.
Rihanna or Beyonce?
Beyonce.
Roy Williams.
Roy Williams, my cousin, my family, the best hitter in the NFL.
Jello or pudding?
Jello.
Debo Samuel.
Dog.
Jelly bean, Skittle. He's rolling.
Skittles.
Best player you ever trained?
Best player ever trained.
Got him. You got
Teron
him.
Ward.
Okay.
Fred Warner or Micah Parsons? Chicken strips or wings? 52 seconds. Best QB in the NFL right now? Time.
Man, you got him on that.
Yeah, he got me.
He was
That's
rolling.
hard, man.
Yeah, I know, right? Hey,
It's
boy,
not-
you train a lot of killers, man.
Not
Hey.
easy. So
You got
let's
dogs in
add
the
them
stable,
up.
it's hard.
Let's add them up, and then you don't want to disappoint nobody. So let's add them up, and then we're gonna revisit a few of these. He was rolling, but he got stumped on that one. So first one, City College of San Francisco. This is where this man played. Great junior college football program. So that's number one. He's going with the Green Grapes, number two. He's going with the Beyonce, number three. He's got his cousin, Roy Williams, great former Dallas Cowboys, for the number four. He's going up Jello, number five. He's got Debo Samuel as a dog, number six. Number seven, he's going with Skittles. Best player you ever trained, 8. Fred Warner, 9. Wings on 10. And then best QB for 11 is Pat Mahomes. And you add the delay. So he's got 12. 12.
That
If
one
it wasn't
got
for
me.
that one question, yeah, he would have been right there. So, and the great Teron Ward. Now, once again, that was a tough question because he has trained many dogs. We just talked about Ray Davis, talked about Sincere Jackson. He said Teron Ward. That is TJ's younger brother, NFL player with the Falcons. So, yeah, good job there, man, and appreciate you going through the gauntlet with us. Let's see, we got some people coming into the comments section. Poetic Hayes says, let's go. You're pretty for that. You're petty for that. You the Rams. Okay, so there you go. This must be somebody that knows you for sure. So we're on to our next topic, you guys, and we appreciate the great Mike Neal Jr. once again. Real Neal Sports Gym. If you're in the Bay Area, people travel to get to this young man, so make it happen for yourself. But we are on to our audience Q&A portion of the show, you guys. If you do have a question for the great Mike Neal Jr., please don't hesitate. Put it in the comment section. But Q, I know you got something for Big Mike.
Definitely. So I actually got two questions. The first one is, Mike, what's your opinion, man, on as far as evaluation of athletes, man, with the star system? We've seen a lot of kids that were 5 stars that maybe weren't that, and we've seen kids with no stars or 1 star that have been absolute monsters. What do you feel like, or is there too much emphasis put on that?
Yeah, I think I don't believe in stars, man. I think you can line if you really got the juice, you line somebody up against somebody and prove that they are what they are. But just because somebody ranked you at something, that doesn't mean that's who you are. You know what I mean? Like I don't believe in it. I think it's great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not taking anything from any athletes that ranked as a star. You're 5, 4, 3, but that shouldn't define who you are, because a 5-star athlete could get comfortable and take the foot off the gas because he's a 5-star athlete. When that 1-star athlete could also be discouraged because they're 1-star. So it's dependent on the person and the athlete. That's why you can put that 1-star against that 5-star, and that 1-star could dog that 5-star because they want it more.
Yeah. And see, that's what we see out of Cooper. Cooper wasn't a 5-star, but I mean, just came in and just took over since he hit the league, Cooper Kupp. So I mean, definitely had to ask that. My next question as well, I got one more for you, is how can I say, what do you see? Let me word it like this. Do you see more of kids that you see are off the charts talented? Do you see them more times than not their work ethic equals that? Or do you see kids with maybe talent level that maybe you would call average per se, but the work ethic is through the roof? Because I often see a lot of kids that are just extremely gifted, but once they realize that and people tell them that, the work ethic usually doesn't match that, if that makes sense. So how often do you see that?
I don't see it that often, but I do see it often enough to know that it happens more than it should.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that just goes back to what I said earlier about somebody being patted on their back all the time. They think they is sweet, so they take their foot off the gas.
Yeah.
Where you got a person that nobody's talking about, and all they do is work.
Yeah.
I got kids right now that you do not know about that are straight dogs, and they will outwork anybody at any time in their sport just because they love it, because they want to be great, and because nobody knows who they are right now. And they're humble enough to put the work in and not complain, not cry. And I also know some great athletes who are getting highly recruited or at that level. And because they had some success, they don't work like they used to before they got to that success.
There we go.
So now the playing field is starting to even out. And I would say this candidly in front of everybody, like the black athlete would say, oh, he's black, and we know superiorly most African American athletes are a little bit more athletic than most other cultures. But now it's starting to even out because these other cultures are starting to put in more work. It's getting close to being even. Look around. You just mentioned Cooper Kupp, who was the best receiver in the NFL last year, a Triple Crown winner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's so at the end of the day, it's the work you put in and how you're willing to continue to get better. The sports are not races. They don't care what your race is. They just want to know who's gonna work and who's gonna really master the craft and give back to it the most. So
yeah,
I'm definitely seeing it.
Yeah, and for you kids out there, I add real quick, Coach. I asked that for any kids out there that and I'm glad you said that, Mike. But kids out there that are working, keep working, but don't be discouraged if you're not getting a ton of letters, or you a 1-star or 2-star, whatever the case may be. Keep working, because you know what? It's sometimes better when they don't see you coming.
Real talk. We got a couple of great questions coming through the comment section. We've got Christina Areola saying, greatest personal achievement. What's your greatest personal achievement? I'm assuming she's talking within sports, but
well, my greatest personal achievement is outside of sports and business. It's the birth of my daughter. So being a father has been my greatest achievement. So that's what that is.
Love it. And then we've got Alonzo Washington saying, what's your take on athletes transferring schools or programs based on playing time?
That's so new to me, so I don't agree with it, because it's never been an option for me when I grew up. The option was work your butt off and try to outwork the person in front of you. So I'm not a big, I don't know enough about it, and I don't to say I don't believe in it, because there have been a lot of success, and there's also reasons why athletes are transferring now. It's not always just playing time. Sometimes they don't get along with their position coach or head coach, or it's just not a fit for them.
NIL.
Yeah. There's a lot of different things. So I speak from my point of view. If that's your reason of playing time because you're transferring, you're not guaranteed playing time at your next destination.
Facts.
So you got to work anyways.
Can't
so don't run from the smoke. Don't run from the smoke.
They try, boy.
Great, right there. And then we've got Kai who has a question, and he says, okay, let's put on the college coaching hat for you, Mike. You got a dog, somebody who's willing to work anytime, any place, and then you got a freak athlete, some Travis Hunter type stuff. Who would you rather have on your roster?
Immediately. I know
That's
I
a
say.
great question.
It is.
It's a great question.
It is.
But I'm gonna say I want the dog.
Yes, sir.
I
Every
want the
time.
dog.
Every
Your
time.
athlete might get hit in the face one time and he gonna crumble. Your dog
Yep.
gonna take that hit and gonna swing
Eat
back.
it.
He gonna
Eat
swing
it.
back though. You know what I'm saying? So give me the pit.
Right. Facts. Yeah. Yeah.
This is a good one right here from Brandon, coming from an athlete point of view. So you're an athlete right now. Did you ever have a teammate that was lazy and didn't put in the work? And how did you deal with that person?
That is a good
Of
question.
course. I would say anyone in team sports has dealt with teammates who don't work as hard as you feel like they should, or they're just lazy when it comes to practice, or just how they approach the game. Me personally, I don't deal with it. I separate myself from that because I don't want that to bleed into how I work. I just lead by example and put in my work, and hopefully they catch up. But
Yeah.
I don't, as a leader, you just got to lead by example sometimes, and maybe give a few words of encouragement. But if it's not in them, it's not in them.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, and I'm sure you gentlemen will agree, for in regards to some teammates that I've had, it's the most talented ones that you see doing. It's the most talented. That's why, again, I just going back to what I just said and what you. It's the most talented athletes, and the work ethic just isn't there, man. But freak athletes, jumping 41s, all of that, won't hit the weight room, won't hit heels, none of that, man. It's just not there, man.
Yeah, and for you young athletes out there, the blessing of all time for a coach is when his best players are his hardest workers. Because if his best players are his hardest workers, the ones that don't want to work, they'll weed themselves out. It will all take care of itself because there's a culture set. So if you are one of those players that feels like you work and your teammates don't, then keep stepping up your work ethic, keep separating from them, and when they see you getting the scholarship offers, then they'll know what they got to do. We got Poetic Hayes, and thank you so much for being kind with your time, Mike. She says, what is the one piece of advice you want these athletes to know for each class/age level, beginner, high school, college, pro? Let's start with beginner. Like, so a mom is bringing their kid to you and they're saying, Mike, he's saying he's ready. Now I want to pass him over to you. What do you want that kid to know?
That varies based on case and every athlete, but I'm gonna be general. For my young athletes, it's just development of athleticism. Development is the word for the youth. It's not it's not running a bunch of routes or anything like that. You can learn how to do that kind of stuff, but develop your body, develop your mind, understand how to jump, how to load, how to hinge, how to change directions, how to be an athlete. Develop the body, because they're so beginner. So if you're a beginner, your body's not equipped to be elite yet.
Yeah.
I love it.
Great
I love
question.
it.
Great question.
What about for the high school kid, Mike?
The high school kid, I would tell them, master their craft. Spend time after time on your craft. That doesn't mean play your sport year round. That means focus on the minute things of your sport, rather that be your shooting, your dribbling, your passing, your court vision, your hands. If you're a receiver, work on your route running. Be precise with how you release off the ball. Be consistent doing the little things that we talked about earlier. Develop your craft. If you're a baseball player, you should be hitting the ball and taking grounders every single day. You don't have to play games. You just have to master your craft.
Good point.
I love it. I love it
Good
right
point.
there.
Good
We
point.
got some more questions coming on in here. We got Daryl Brown giving us the flex. We got Alonzo Washington with the flex. Thank you guys. what words of advice do you have for young athletes going into tryouts? I like that, especially since we're coming into the off season with football players going into tryouts if they've been training all off season and have never played the sport for that team.
If you've been training all off season, meaning I guess you've been lifting weights and running to get in shape, your confidence going into tryouts is already there. Now what you need to focus on is just attacking the details and the skill sets for that sport.
Right.
So if you have time, go practice and work on the skill sets. Like I said, master your craft. If you have not been training, I can tell you to get in shape. If you get in shape, your skills will your natural skills will show longer. Meaning the athlete that's in better shape can play longer. The athlete that's not in better shape is going to fatigue, and then fatigue makes cowards out of all of us. So once you get fatigued, your brain doesn't work and you start making mistakes. So I would tell you, bottom line, get in shape. You get in shape, that's gonna set you apart from your peers in tryouts.
I love it. I love it. And some of those best athletes you guys think of, they're the ones that are in shape. The Steph Currys, the Michael Jordan, the boys that's in shape. We've got Mason Forbes. Thank you for joining us, saying Mike Neal is the best on the West. We love you for that. And then we've got another great question before we let you get out of here, Mike. And once again, appreciate you for your time. But let's see here. Here's a good one. Christina says, what sets Real Neal Sports apart from all the other programs? Because there's a million of them out there. What sets Real Neal apart?
That's a great question. Just development. I would say the word development it comes to me first. Developing the body, developing the athlete's mind. We tap into the athlete and make them understand what they're doing, the whys behind what they're doing, how it translates to their sport. I would tell you that is what separates us more than anything. We don't give you a bunch of gimmicks and gamuts of different drills and highlight videos of footwork drills on the ladder. No disrespect to anyone that does that, but we specialize and we pride ourselves on educating the athlete how to be a better athlete, which translates to being a better player in their sport.
Nice.
Poetic says Mike sets the program apart. The other programs ain't got Mike. That's the deal. We got the great Jerry Coakley coming in saying Real Neal is the man. Real Neal is the man.
Right
yes,
on.
indeed.
Absolutely.
So we thank you guys for joining us. And Mike, I knew you were going to lace them up, and I knew you were going to drop some good game in. So thank you for joining us tonight in the Locker Room Show, man. We appreciate
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Keep cranking them out, my man. We watching. No doubt. Yeah.
All right, you guys. So, hey, there you guys have it. That is the great Mike Neal Jr. If you are in the Bay Area, then that is definitely somebody that you need to get with, Q. I mean, there are so many different programs and trainers out there, but when you talk to a real one, you can tell why people vibe with him.
Absolutely. And the fact that I love about what he's doing is he works with athletes in all sports. And I love it, man. He's doing some great things, and you'll continue to see kids get an opportunity, man, in their dream because they're working with them, man, and staying focused.
Yes, indeed. So once again, if you are in the Bay Area, and he works with all sports, both genders. So if you need to get right, then you need to check out Real Neal Sports. And then he's on social media. So you guys go to Instagram, go to TikTok, go to Twitter, and it's at Real Neal Sports. At Mike Neal Jr. You guys can find him. Let them know that you're rolling with us, and you guys can tap in and get right. If you guys have not already, please subscribe to the Before You Go Pro YouTube channel. We bring content every single week, you guys, that is geared towards serving young football players, parents, coaches out there that want to take this thing serious, that want to go to the next level and really have the support that they deserve. We bring in the best of the best in the industry, you guys, players, coaches, Hall of Famers, all Americans. They've all graced the Locker Room Show, and they're here for you guys. Also, if you know a young athlete that needs some recruiting support, needs some love, needs some exposure, then we would love to have you guys check out beforeyougopro.com. We work with athletes across the country. We have an exclusive database where we place our athletes and college recruiters, look at our guys every single day. Had some kids get some scholarship offers today, baby.
Nice,
So
nice.
it's that time of year. Yep, we got kids playing Power 5 all the way down to NAIA, nice. You guys. So if you need that help or you know somebody who does, they should be subscribed to our channel, and they should be getting some Before You Go Pro love and support. So there you guys have it. And we will be back. Q, we got bowl games going on, man. They're trying to figure out who's going to the NFL playoffs.
Man.
We got a lot going on.
Man, here's the question. Who you got, Coach? I want to know who you got live. Who you got?
Are we talking playoffs or are we talking NFL?
We talking football? College playoffs. Who you got?
All right, you're gonna put me out there
on
live. You're gonna put me on live. I know who you got. And we'll let the people know who you got. But I gotta go with Michigan, man. I gotta go with Michigan. And the reason why I'm going with Michigan is because football has always been about storyline, Q. It's always been about storyline, and crazy things happen to fit the storyline, you know. And I just think the way that Michigan had to overcome those obstacles, and the way that they tried to put Harbaugh on the sideline, I think them boys are serious, man. I think that they got some camaraderie that's hard to beat. That's hard to beat.
They do. I'm with you, Coach. I just feel like it's Michigan's time, man. It's a couple of seasons, man, consecutively where they really should have beat Ohio State. They should have been the Big Ten champs. In technicalities, bad calls, whatever the case may be. Sometimes you do need a little bit of luck to get where you're going during the season, man. You do. You need a little nudge of luck. I think they've gotten that, man, but they found their mojo. Obviously, man, Washington with Penix is going to be strong. Texas is a Big 12 champ. That you're right. And, and then, of course, you got Alabama, who's always miraculously going to slide in the back door some kind of way.
I haven't heard anybody talking Washington.
Right.
I haven't heard anybody talking Washington.
Really? I think Washington is the sleeper, man. They're the sleeper, but my favorite is Michigan, though. They play good on both sides of the ball. Not a lot of penalties, man. They're well coached, and they got great athletes. So they got the perfect combination, man. And to me, out of everyone there, they deserve the most. Them and Washington. Yeah. Them and Washington deserve to be there. I don't feel like Alabama. They won. They're the SEC champ. But I think we all know Georgia's a better team, but that's football. Anybody can be beat on any day. So we'll see. But fun, it's going to be a blast. But I got Michigan, though. I got my money on Michigan.
All right. Yeah. So, hey, there you go. You got two Michigans in the house. So if you want to fade us, if you think it's something different, then let us know. But our picks are on wax. They on wax. We both go in Michigan, and we're going to see how this thing plays out. Anything for these young bucks before we get out of here, Q?
Hey, yeah, absolutely. Take this show and watch it again. That's what you gonna get for me. It was a ton. We bring sauce everywhere, but this was exceptional. This was a ton of sauce. So when you get an opportunity, if you didn't see this live, man, hey, send it to one of your young athletes, send it to a coach, parent, but watch this again, man. It really, really hone in, on what our guest was talking about tonight, man, because it's highly, highly competitive. And you really got to be locked in if you're trying to go to that next level, man. So you get an opportunity, man, check this show out again. Run it back.
Great point. Great point. And I know Jimmy, a few other people said the same sentiments that, hey, this is some great advice. So this is what we set up for you guys every single
Yeah.
Thursday. We want to come serve you. We're going to bring in another great guest next week. We get lined up. We're getting some of the best in the football industry lined up, you guys, just to give you guys all of the information you need to be better than the rest. Okay.
Mhm.
So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight's show. I know you did. Signing off, Coach Wood, and that is Q the Guru. We will definitely see you at the top. Have a good one.